What's going on, people? Welcome to the match preview show. I'm joined by Lou and Pat here to talk about the Bournemouth game that's coming up after that 5-0 defeat against Newcastle. There should be enough talking points, but then again, do we really want to talk about this game straight after that defeat? I guess we have to. But as always, if you do enjoy the content, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Gents, I think all of us were on a match reaction yesterday, for a brief period of time. Lee jumped on first and then Pat jumped on after. Have we calmed down? Are we looking forward to this game? Going back to Sellers Park? I mean, we haven't won an away game since the Fulham one. Maybe at home, since being right, and maybe our home form has changed. Lou, I'll start off with you. What's your thoughts on this game?
Don't lose. That's my only thought. Don't lose.
Yeah, don't lose. But how do we fix the problem that's going on? You're saying don't lose. 10 goals conceded in the last 2 games. What on earth is going on?
Do you know what? I don't know. Maybe fatigue, cups in the back of their mind. But yeah, there needs to be some changes, man. I honestly don't want to see that same line. There's certain players I don't even want to see their face on Saturday.
Before I go to Pat, enlighten me. You?
I don't want to. We'll see if their faces are in my face.
Yeah, not be Munoz.
I hope Munoz took some notes about how to play fullback from Livramento.
Hey, trust me, it's just not. It's not only him.
It's not even Munoz. Mitchell, I want you in that dugout. I don't want to see you on the pitch on Saturday. Honestly, I don't want to see him on the pitch. I don't want to see him on the pitch.
Bournemouth. I mean, it's not going to be easy. They haven't been that great as of recently. I don't want to say that because of
don't. They've just
I know, but I've said it already. But based on form, I think they've only won in the last 5. Surely it's a Palace win, right?
No, seriously. All joking aside, we need a reaction against Bournemouth. Clearly, Man City. Listen, they're a good side, but 5-2 is unacceptable. Newcastle again, good side, 5-0, unacceptable. We need a reaction. I think there's definitely the players definitely have the semi-final in the back of their mind. I don't care if they say it out loud or not. That's definitely in the back of their mind. But we need a reaction against Bournemouth, whether it's a 0-0 low block, I'll take it. Mid block, 0-0 counter. I don't care. We need to have a clean sheet for one and get a result. And like Lou said, some of the players that I don't want to see either. We need to make some changes. I don't care if it's attacking changes. We don't really have the ability to make a lot of defensive changes. I like to mention the goalkeeper, but I won't because he thinks I have an agenda now against the goalkeeper. But we need to do something. Something has to change because this is not good enough right now.
Lou, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, but Pat suggested that Turner should start against Bournemouth. Are you going that far?
Did I really say that?
In terms of the changes, you did say that.
Okay. I don't remember. Yesterday was a head loss, so I could have said it. And now that I've had a day to think about it, I'm sticking with that. I'm going to stick with that. Yeah, I'm still saying that.
I could tell when you suggested Turner ahead of Henderson. Well, look, changes are needed. But when you talk about the players focusing maybe on the semi-final, for me, that's still not good enough. I understand it.
It's not directly. It's having it in the back of your mind.
Yeah, but we need to be. I don't know. I said this to Pat yesterday. I don't know how you feel about this, but the manager needs to make sure he sends out a message saying that your place is not guaranteed. But could he do that with the decisions or the options that we have at the back, for example? Could he do that with maybe the front three? I'm not too sure, but do you think maybe a bit of rotation needed for a warning to the players? Because the body language yesterday just seemed off. It seemed off from the get-go. It was too easy. Yeah. Newcastle, yes, they were great, but for on our end, it's like we just gave up.
Listen, I'd rather see wholesale changes and lose than go with the same team again. I'm not saying that the same team will lose. If we play the 11 we played, our normal 11, if they play on Saturday, I'm not saying they can't win, but I'd rather go with wholesale changes and see what happens.
Why is that?
Because it just looks it looks stale. It looks stale. It looks like the better teams know how to set up against us. Listen, I can't watch Mitchell play at the moment. I'm going on Saturday. I generally don't want to watch him play. I don't know what they're going to do with the midfield. The 2 10s. Listen, I'd play Franco and Esse. I don't care. I don't really care at this point after seeing the performances recently. I don't care. I'd just like to see someone else play.
The difficulty with that is we've got the Villa game coming up on next week Saturday after this one, and we've got Arsenal midweek. So if you don't play some of these players in this game, then they've had, I guess, an extended break, and you also maybe want to go to the game with a bit of rhythm.
They can come off the bench. I don't know. Maybe I'm being reactionary. They can come off the bench, but I need to see other players play. I need to see it. I need to see what options we have in a competitive environment. These players are coming on when games are done. We don't know what they can do.
Yeah,
like Villa could go to extra time. We need a plan A and a half. We don't even have a plan B right now. We don't have a plan A and a half. Like when it looks like when our backs are against the wall and think that momentum swing, it's going back towards the start of the season when the momentum swings, we couldn't get it back. And then obviously we've gone on this unbelievable run and the confidence is high, but a lot of those games we went 1-0 up, went 1-0 up, went 1-0 up, went 1-0 up. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying I know what's going to get the win on Saturday. I just want to see something different. If it's crap again, it's crap again, but at least it was something different. I don't know.
You know what? Let's break this down then. Let's start off with the defense because we can talk about changes and we can also talk about tactics.
You can't change the defense.
Yeah, and that's the issue. So what do we do with that? Let's start off with the back three. For me, you got Richards, Lacroix, Gahey there. I don't think any of them played well in the game against Newcastle. In the game against City, Lacroix wasn't that great either. I think that's back-to-back games for Lacroix, Pat, which he hasn't performed at the levels. But the dilemma is, who on earth, if he was to drop Lacroix, who on earth do you bring in? The only one player I can think about that should be in genuine contention maybe is Lerma, because he's actually not played bad in defense when he's gone back there. But apart from Lerma, and the final plan is there, with all due respect, I don't want to see that, especially in 2025. So what does what can he do? And that's the difficulty of the position, especially with the defense. 10 goals in the last 2 games. It's not easy, but you also can't make that many changes, especially for the back three.
No. Well, all joking aside, you can't change Henderson. You leave him in there. Maybe you take him out versus Arsenal. But for Bournemouth, you can't change the back three. And I'll say the reason I'm saying that because I realized I misspoke yesterday during the match reaction. Gahey didn't play against City. Obviously, he was suspended. So that was the first time they see them play together in a couple of matches. So I need to see them play together, get some continuity going. So I got no problem playing Lacroix, Richards, and Gahey again against Bournemouth. What I would change are the wing backs. I would definitely start Chilwell. And honestly, I would try Kapora against them because he played against Arsenal. So I would try that. I would try to win. I would not change the central three. No, I would keep them the same. I don't want Lerma in the back three unless it's an emergency. I like to rest Lerma, by the way. He's played a lot of football. I'd play Wharton and Hughes that's the middle set. And again, like Lou, I'd change the attacking three. I would actually, Mateta maybe, but again, give Nketiah a start. Give me Esse, França, and Nketiah. And like Lou said, not for the whole game. If they're not playing or it's not gelling, come on at halftime. But there has to be some changes. The back three, though, for me, cannot change. There's no solutions back there. And to me, they need to get some continuity before Villa. Otherwise, we're going to get smoked.
And that was my biggest worry because a lot of people are thinking about Villa, but I want to go into that game not conceding 15, 20 goals in 4 games. Like, you're giving Villa confidence indirectly. They can see this and they could say, if that's the case, we can destroy Palace. Whereas before we've struggled, Villa have struggled against us. So we need to change it ASAP in the next few games. So with the wing backs, let's land there. I think Mitchell didn't have a great game against Newcastle. And in this game, he should get dropped. However, I don't know what you thought of it, Lou. Chilwell didn't come on. He didn't even come on against Newcastle. That shocked me. The fact that Mitchell was not having a good game and Chilwell, all of those players came off the bench, but Chilwell didn't. Do you think it's a case of resting him for this game? Like Glasgow's already decided Chilwell starting the next game? Or what?
To me, the players that came off were probably the players that played the most minutes this season. But apart from Mitchell, like I said it in the ratings, those players didn't deserve to come off. They didn't deserve to come on. They should have played to the end. They should have suffered every minute of it. It's only because they've had a high level of minutes played, and maybe the reason why Mitchell didn't come off was because Chilwell's going to play on Saturday, and he'll get the Saturday off. But listen, I don't know. I'd even part of me even says play Kapora. It's really stale. It's 10 goals in 2 games. I don't care if we lost 3-0 and we changed it and we tried something new. I don't care. I just need to see something else. I need to see what this squad can do.
Yeah, I'm not against Chilwell and Kapora starting. I think Kapora for Munoz, rest him before the Villa game. He's high energy player. Even yesterday, he didn't look tired, but just give him a rest.
He can play 30 minutes. He can play 40 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. He can come off the bench if he needs to. And I think Chilwell, look, he's a professional and he's played at the top level for a long time. And he's played at, some very good competitions as well. So he's got experience and we signed him till the end of the season. This is the perfect opportunity. We conceded 5 goals. Mitchell didn't have a great game. Naturally so, you give the next player an opportunity. We've been talking about depth. The depth is there. If Chilwell doesn't start on Saturday, then he must be having a horror show in training and Glazer simply doesn't rate him. But then again, he has brought him off the bench in the last few games. So as you said, I think he might have just tried to protect him for the Bournemouth game, and hopefully that is the case. And maybe we might see Chilwell play 90 minutes against Bournemouth, which we haven't seen in the Premier League as of yet. I think we've seen him in cup competitions. Now the midfield. Do you think the midfield was a problem, Pat, against Newcastle?
I mean, they got overrun by a midfield. I said it's probably top 2. I'm going to answer probably top 1 in the whole Premier League.
Yeah, it is. It's probably
the best midfield. So I definitely see Wharton coming back into it. And again, I want to give Lerma a rest. I want to see Wharton Hughes. I haven't seen that in a while because obviously Hughes has been sick and then was suspended. So Wharton Hughes for me has to be the starting 2 against Bournemouth. Gives you that continuity. They played together well together. So for me, that's fair. And again, Lerma's played a lot of minutes, man. We kill him for how he played yesterday, but he's played a lot of minutes. The guy's got to be. I don't care if he's clumping in the actually is the machine. The guy's got to be tired, man. Give the guy a rest. He deserves to rest. So for me, Wharton and Hughes, and even by the way, even Wharton and Kamada, because Kamada played well when he came off the bench yesterday. Give Kamada a chance, but it has to be Wharton and somebody else. You cannot flog Lerma for another game.
I'd probably go Wharton and Hughes and play Lerma and Kamada on Wednesday.
Well, do you think when you're talking about the midfield, do you think it's down to the players or the system? Because when we're looking at the last 2 games, are we getting found out in midfield? City game, we got outrun in midfield. Newcastle, once again, that was a similar situation. Do you think it's more than just the players, Lou?
I actually don't know what's going on. I actually don't. I don't know what's going on. We can do tactical breakdown. How you can't tactically break down 10 goals conceded in 2 games? Like I don't really get what's going on. I feel like after the Brighton game, it was such an emotional high. Cup semi-finals. What was it like? 5 wins and a draw, and we're starting to get all the media were saying how good Palace are and semi-final and they're pushing for Europe, and then it's like bang, 10 goals, 2 bad losses. I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
So,
Pat, you have your.
I don't listen. I get when you lose matches, the first thing you say is change the tactics. I don't agree with that. I really don't agree. Again, the 3-4-2-1, which what we play, is one of the most flexible systems that you can play because it morphs so easily into 4 at the back, 5 at the back, 3 midfield, 5 midfield. You don't have to change the tactics. What I believe is we're not giving credit again to the 2 last opponents. Man City beat us because Kevin De Bruyne had a Kevin De Bruyne game. Without him, they probably don't come back in that game. Because if you remember that game, we're up 2-0. We could have been up 3-0. The defender turned on them and they got the free kick, etc. Yesterday, or the Newcastle game, was just that. Again, Newcastle, they saw a weakness in the wide areas and they exploited it in Barnes and in Murphy. That's not, to me, a tactics thing. Our tactics work. We were very open. A lot of times, I don't know what was going on. Both Munoz and Mitchell were way up the pitch. And when they counted, we had basically 2 defenders playing against 3 others. I don't understand why we did that. It was really weird.
But Munoz does that thing. But Munoz does that thing where he goes and presses all the way up the pitch
by himself, right?
And then Shaw just was hitting the crossfield ball.
No, I get that. Yeah. I get sometimes he goes over the top. But yesterday, as you said, Mitchell was pushing up, Munoz was pushing up, but we always do that anyways. They normally push up. Munoz
Not at
and
the same
Mitchell,
time, though, D. Not at the
trigger
same
points
time.
they push up and press whenever the wide players of the opposition get the ball. That's what happens. This is a normal thing. It's not like they were pushing up yesterday and they haven't been pushing up all season. That's the trigger points. That's the system. That's how we play. That's what Munoz and Mitchell always does.
I'm not getting
They
worried.
don't press at the same time, though. They don't press at the same. They never go that high at the same time. Not that I've ever seen. But go ahead.
I'm not getting worried now. Newcastle and City are two good teams. We've conceded 10. Saturday,
yes.
If it goes horribly wrong, I will be very worried.
I agree.
I'm not in panic mode now. I'm still relaxed. Saturday. Listen, we're back at Selhurst against probably a team we're probably the exact same level as Bournemouth. That is probably our level. They've got some players that are better than ours. We've got some that are better than theirs. It's probably even. The last game was 0-0. So that will be a good indication. Again, listen, I'm not looking forward to the game, but this is where the manager and players earn their money. Can you stop the rut? Can you get your confidence back? Can you play your way back into form? But yeah, I'm not panicking now, but I'm like, it wasn't great the last two games.
Yeah, for me, Wharton, Hughes, they started midfield in this game. I think the reason why he didn't start Wharton in the last game was because he was one yellow card away from a ban. That's actually now reset. So he can't get banned if he gets a yellow card. So that could have potentially been a reason as well as rest. And I wasn't even upset about him not starting against Newcastle Wharton. I think it was the right decision, to be fair. But I think Wharton and Hughes starting midfield. Now, the front three, I'm not that bothered, to be fair. I wouldn't mind.
Quick one with the changes. I don't think there can be too many. So you got to choose. Are you going to change the wing backs or are you going to change the 10s? I don't think you can change all five. You can't change the wing. Can't change the wing backs and the front three. You're going to have to change one set. It's too much change. You can't play Kapora and Esse together. You're going to have to play.
Too young. Yeah.
You're going to have to play.
I don't think he changes the front three. That was going to be like my point. I don't think he changes it much. I think maybe Mateta could get a rest for Nketiah, but I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to drop. I don't think he's going to drop Eze after what's happened with the penalty kick. I don't think he will do that. Like I just don't see that happening. Or maybe Sarr. It might do rotate or one of them. But if he rotates, for example, let's say Chilwell starts at the back, I think Eze starts at the number 10 role. However, if Kapora was to start, let's say for Munoz,
definitely start
Sarr.
So it'll be Munoz. So we have to be Munoz and Sarr.
It probably would never happen ever. But I generally wouldn't mind seeing 4-4-2. I wouldn't hate it.
We've actually seen it though during games. We have seen it. But
I thought he was going to go 4-4-2 yesterday. I wouldn't. I know I'm a big fan of 3-4-2-1. I'm a big fan of it. I love the formation. When it works, it looks brilliant because you go into a low block 5-4-1 when you haven't got the ball, and you're free flowing attacking when you're going forward. But I wouldn't hate to see 4-4-2 just for the whole plan B thing. I think it's so important to have. There's so many. I think the best teams can kind of flex. You're either absolutely ridiculously good at one formation, or you're like very good at one, and you can maybe switch to another. But again, I understand he has his principles. But I said I wouldn't hate seeing 4-4-2. I wouldn't hate seeing Mateta and Nketiah just occupying two centre halves.
That could happen. But he hasn't.
And Chilwell left back and Eze on the left drifting in, or maybe a little something a bit different, and maybe a Munoz with a Sarr further out wide right. I'm not saying it's going to happen or it would ever work.
I don't think it's going to happen.
But I just said I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I just want to see something different. That's all I want to see.
Yeah, and I think that comes down to the players as well. I think the players just need to be switched on. More than tactical, I think, regardless of what system that you play, if we just switch off like we done yesterday, we're still going to get battered. It's simple as that. It's more than tactics. However, he has changed to a back four during games, towards end of games, I think when we were chasing games more than actually defending the lead. But the last time he's done that, I genuinely can't remember. But he has done that, I think, a couple times so far this season. But I don't think he's going to do that now. I think he'll send out the wrong message. I think, as I said, it'll be like a panic mode if we change the system and do this and that, all before the Villa Cup final. So
I don't think it will happen. I do really think the worst thing that can happen on Saturday, And I don't think we're typical Palace anymore. When people say our typical Palace, I'm not really on board with that. But I can genuinely see a 4th minute Semenyo goal. Like I can see that early goal.
Yeah, that will hurt us. We can't do that.
And Selhurst goes from being one of the best games at Brighton to being a little bit toxic again. And I think it's important that the fans get behind the team on Saturday. It's more important to do it on Saturday against Bournemouth, just as important than it is at Brighton. It's easy to get out for Brighton. It's easy to do that. It's Brighton. It's with 9 men. It's easy to have that create that cauldron. But can you do it at Bournemouth at home on a Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock? Can you do that?
Exactly. Talking about this game, is there anything else that you don't want to add before score predictions?
I'm go on, Pat.
No, I mean, you gotta look at how Bournemouth play. You know, their system, their 4-2-3-1. They've got, again, you mentioned Semenyo, but obviously got Kluivert, who hasn't played as much. Kirkes is very, very, very good as a left-sided player. You've got Evan Nielsen as a striker.
Christie's out for the season, isn't he? Christie's out for the season.
He's out for the season. They got Hoyson and Senesi at their centre backs. They got Adams and Cook in the midfield. It's gonna be a difficult game. I think you have to respect them. The system that they play is when we face, obviously, because most teams play a 4-2-3-1, but they've got good players. I'm really interested to see. I think Wharton Hughes versus Cook and Adams is a very good matchup. You know, it's a very good. I want to see that midfield, but again, got to be careful of. I don't know if Ouattara plays out wide.
Ouattara plays left, isn't it? And
right,
because before Kluivert was getting injured, Semenyo was playing on the left, and he was horrible on the left. Because I had him in my fantasy team, and I was watching him on the left, and he is terrible on the left. As soon as I sold him, he went to the right, and he scored. So, and listen, I don't even think I'll enjoy watching Semenyo versus Chilwell. I think probably Mitchell will probably do better against Semenyo.
Yeah, but then
you're backtracking, and are you backtracking all of a sudden?
I'm not backtracking. I'm saying I don't care. If
on paper,
Mitchell
yes,
gets rinsed.
Yes, I think Mitchell needs.
Gahey's there.
Yeah, Mitchell needs to get dropped after because on paper, yes.
I don't even want to. I want to see him on the. I want him to sit at the back row of the dugout. I want it in the corner.
No, that's wild. He hasn't been that bad. You're being.
That's wild.
I'm just saying. I just don't want to see him on the pitch on Saturday. I love Mitchell. I think Mitchell is a great servant. I love him, a great player. I just don't want to see him on Saturday.
He shouldn't. He needs a rest. But the reason why I can talk about Bournemouth players, but my mindset is just gone past that. It's not even about the matchups. It's about us just turning up. Like we've conceded 10 goals in the last 2 games. So we can talk about Semenyo versus Mitchell or Semenyo versus Chilwell. But it's just more than that at this point. It's like you just need to, even if you're Ben Chilwell and he hasn't been that great defensively, even though he's kind of improved in the last few games, he hasn't been awful. You just have to step up. You have to take your chances. So as long as these players want it, I think we can have a matchup against anyone. We've seen it so far this season. We have. That's why we've had one of the best away records up until the last 2 games all season long in terms of goals conceded. Because we've been up for it. We've been a match against a lot of teams so far this season. So
in that run, did we
bigger than Bournemouth and what they got?
In that away run, did we play anyone in the top 6 or 7? Was the only team Fulham that we beat that was high up?
This is a good question.
We didn't play anybody. No,
we faced Brighton.
We didn't play Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle. We just played Forest. We didn't play City, obviously. Chelsea. We didn't play anybody. United is 2 above us.
I think any of the top 7 that we've gone to away, we haven't won.
So are you saying they're away?
No, I'm just saying when we've come up against better teams, it's harder to play that way.
Well, it is going to be harder, but it shouldn't be like this bad. Like I expect.
We're playing Bournemouth off the back of 2 games where we've conceded 5.
And that's the reason why I'm not really looking at Bournemouth as much. I'm looking at us. Like we just need to make sure we just keep a clean sheet. That's it. Like that.
I'll take a boring 0-0 all day long.
Yeah, exactly. Take a boring 0-0 and then build from that. Like we need something to build on. That's why I would have took a draw against Newcastle, because it's like after the City game, conceding 5 goals. This is the worst case scenario. Considering another 5 goals. Like you don't want this to happen, and that's why the main focus right now should be maybe have the lowest of the lowest blocks, make everyone defend, keep that 0-0. Forget about the goal scoring element.
I think with Arsenal on Wednesday as well, they're more likely to rest people against Ipswich because they played Wednesday, rest against Ipswich, play against us, then rest their players on the weekend and then play PSG. They're probably going to do it that way.
Yeah, good point.
A week between games.
They'll probably be resting people. Ipswich away, easier game.
But I will say this: the same what we're going through now. Those players on Arsenal are going to want to not get injured before PSG. They don't care about beating Palace on Wednesday. That's for sure. Or Ipswich or whatever. They are focused on that. That is a massive fixture for them next week against PSG. So they don't care about.
Let's see actually how they perform, because they're in the semi-final now as well. Of course, we're not in the Champions League, we're in FA Cup, but that's like massive for us.
That's a great point. Yeah,
let's see how the players react against Ipswich and against us when they play us. Because they might even be on the beach for those two games. Like the focus, as you said, could be the Champions League semi-final.
Has to be. It has to be, man. They're this close now.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after the preview, anyways. All right, let's get into score predictions. I said
before we get into that, our last 5 head-to-head have been 0-0 away, 1-0 Bournemouth. The game that D and I were at was that one we were at? No, we were at the 2-0 game. That was at the 2-0 game at home when Senesi and Moore scored, and then the 2-0 game we beat them. Eze scored 2, and then we beat them 2-0 again. Ayew and Eze. My point is, a lot of games have clean sheets by one of the teams, so don't look for a lot of goals in this game. So go ahead with your predictions.
Yeah, I'm going for. I want to say 0-0, but I feel like right now I was going 2-1 Bournemouth. 2-1
wow,
Bournemouth.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going 2-1 Bournemouth, but hopefully the players prove me wrong. Right now, I don't know what to expect from them after the last 2 games, especially Newcastle. That was a shock. Lou?
2-0 Bournemouth.
2-0.
Yeah, I'm going 1-0. I'm going 1-0 Palace. JP to score.
Okay.
I'm keeping the faith. I have to.
hopefully, because he's been he hasn't been that great since coming back.
He was fine. No. Let's not.
He wasn't bad yesterday. He wasn't
bad yesterday. Don't do that. He wasn't bad yesterday. He wasn't. Yeah. The team was terrible. He didn't have a bad performance. He did not. He done what Sarr did, because Hughes was free. There was a chance where he could have passed to Hughes as well, but we didn't mention that. Yeah, but anyway, we didn't mention that.
Is what it is. All right, cool. I'm gonna go for, what did I say? What's my prediction?
I wrote down. You said 2-1 Bournemouth. You can't change it now.
Yeah, no. It's fine. Keep it 2-1. I might change it for the opposition preview.
You're a fraud. You're an absolute fraud.
I get myself covered. But let us know your score predictions in the comment section down below. Hopefully, Palace get something out of this game, and we can return to being a Premier League side rather than getting spanked week in, week out. I mean. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but we'll see. Like, subscribe, and until next time, up the Palace.